An extended season for the third time in 5 years. The UCF Knights are going bowling once again, headed to the Bay Area for the St. Petersburg Bowl this coming Saturday night at Tropicana Field against the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to this special postseason edition of UCF Sports Today with George O'Leary. He's the coach. I'm Pat Clark. Happy that you're here as well. It's been a while since we talked. We knew that you were going bowling, George, the last time that we talked. Now we know where, and now we know against whom. And what do you think about all of that? You said on our last program you wanted to go to St. Pete. That has happened, and now you know you're going to play Rutgers.
Well, I think anytime you go to a bowl, it's a great reward for the players and your fan base. I think, especially when it's so close, I think it's an added attraction when you don't have to travel that far to catch a game like that. But again, against a Big East opponent, I didn't really have a pick favorite on who we're going to play. It was going to be a Big East team, and again, I look at it more as extra practice time with some of the young players that we have to work with, and again, see where we sit with them heading into the spring.
You have known for almost 2 weeks now that you were going to St. Pete, but you had to wait for a number of days to find out that it would be Rutgers. What was it like for those number of days? You weren't practicing, of course, but as a coaching staff, I'm thinking you probably would have liked to have known so you could have prepared, so there must have been some angst in waiting to find out who you were going to play against, George.
Well, the staff, except for the coordinators, were on the road recruiting and stuff, and because we'll be back in all this week. We've been in this week as far as working on game plan. I think the big thing was that, we had an idea, so you got a chance to look at a bunch of different teams in the Big East, and really the players had a chance to, catch up with study halls and tutoring on their academics because, again, we're practicing when there's finals going on. We have to do that. Yeah. They have finals from the last Tuesday, the 8th through the 14th, so again, the players have handled it well, and we worked practice around the finals.
Okay, we're going to talk more about Rutgers later on in the program, but George, let's take a brief step back, because typically around the Thanksgiving area, you take a number of your players to a local hospital to see some kids. Because you were on the road right after Thanksgiving, that actually happened the following week, but you did pay a visit to Florida Hospital. Tell me a little bit about that. Smiles everywhere that
Well,
day.
there was. I think it's something that we've always tried to do as far as with the football team is give back to the community. I think that's very important. The team understands that, how unfortunate some others are, and I think it's a good trip for them. It's, they get a chance to be with children and their parents, and I think it puts everything in perspective as far as what life's about and how fortunate they are and how unfortunate some others are. And I always thought it was a good trip, and I think that no question the players look forward to going over there.
Nice touch, Coach. We're going to take a break right now. An 8-4 finish for these UCF Knights. We'll take a look back at the season and, of course, look ahead to the St. Pete Bowl. It's all straight ahead on UCF Sports Today with George O'Leary.
UCF Sports Today with head coach George O'Leary is brought to you by Holler Classic, the official automotive group of the UCF Knights. Buy smart, be happy. Today's show is also presented in part by Bright House Networks. See how bright life can be. And Coca-Cola. Welcome to the Coke side of life.
UCF football is heading back to a bowl game. Ticket orders are now being taken at ucfbowl.com or by calling the UCF Athletics ticket office at 407-823-1000. Don't miss out on this historic event. Armor up, Knights. It's bowl time.
McDuffie at the 5. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, to the 40, looking for a block, 45, 50. McDuffie on the sideline, 40, 35, 30, 25, 10, 5, touchdown, Quincy McDuffie!
Voice of UCF football, Mark Daniels, with one of the many great calls. We'll be showing you some of these plays throughout the program. And welcome back to UCF Sports Today with George O'Leary as the Knights get set for the St. Pete Bowl this coming Saturday night at 8 o'clock down at Tropicana Field. That stadium, George, as I understand it, it's of course configured for baseball, but they have played football in there before. They, of course, did last year. But this seats around between 28, 30, maybe a little more than that, 30,000. So given how the ticket sales have been apparently quite brisk at UCF, and given that there are a number of Rutgers alumni in the state of Florida, there's no reason to believe this shouldn't be a sellout.
Oh, I think it'll be a sellout, plus they'll probably have to extend the stadium a little bit, which they can do. They try to keep it, they configure, it's hard taking a baseball field and making a football field out of it, and they try to keep the best seats alive for the viewings, but they can open up some other seats.
Okay, I want to take a look back, because it's all about improvement for UCF from one year to the next, from one game to the next. Your numbers last year weren't exactly what you would have liked. And I want to tell you, and I'm certain you already know this, but our fans may not, 26 points a game this season. Last year, in 2008, 16 points a game. You scored 40 touchdowns this year, 25 a year ago. There has been marked improvement across the board in all statistics for your team, and I know that you as a head coach and you as your coaching staff have to be really impressed with what those kids did this year.
Well, I think maturity, I think on the players' part, as far as, 1 year experience is big, and I think it showed. Plus, I thought we went in, made more plays production-wise offensively, and big-time plays as far as chunk plays, and that moves the chains and moves the field position. I thought defensively we've been solid. Last year was solid. This year we're solid. We obviously had some youth in the secondary, gave up some passing yards, but I think for the most part they improved each week, which is what you're looking for.
Well, and we've spoken about this before too, George, but you had a four-headed monster in the defensive backfield last year, and you knew that you were going to replace them with new faces. And at first you said they gave up yards after the catch is something that really concerned you early in the season. But you mentioned the maturity, and these kids with the reps and with the game time have shown that. Josh Robinson, a spectacular young freshman with 6 interceptions on the season, just one of a number of players back there who have really improved as the season went on.
Really have, and Josh led the conference in interceptions, #1 in the conference for interceptions, and I think 3rd in breakups. But probably the most consistent player back there, and he's only a true freshman, was Kamal Ismail, the free safety. I thought he really, you could see him improving. Plus, he was tremendous help on special teams too. So I think both of them had a good year. I think Mike Greco was, a pleasant surprise as far as his improvement each game, and he'll be back for the bowl game as far as from his injury. And and Justin Body had a good year as far as development and stuff. So we're pleased with where we've gone there. And the great thing about the defense is really only 3 players graduating. Productive players graduating from that team, so they should be a solid team next year with the right people from the depth chart filling in.
Well, you talked about how the defense was solid last year. Indeed it was, but coming into this season, if someone would have told you that your defense would be number 4 against the rush in the entire nation and number 5 in sacks at the end of the year, what would you have thought? Would you have said, I kind of expect that, or does this in any way surprise you at all?
Well, I think sack-wise, I thought we had some real live wires coming back that could get after the quarterback, and they understood you weren't rushing the blocker, you're rushing the quarterback. That's what young kids have trouble understanding. They spend too much time on the blocker. But the run defense, again, I thought Dave Huxtable and staff did a great job of getting them where they belonged, and run defense is really fitting right and accountability to your position. I thought they did a great job of coaching that and getting the players where they belong.
A few words, Coach, if you don't mind, about Brent Harvey, because he really blossomed into a fine running back this year, finding holes, waiting for holes, and escaping right through those holes. 1,077 yards, 14 touchdowns. He averaged almost 100 yards a game.
Great job. I thought right about from mid-season on, the 4th or 5th game, I thought he started being a running back, where he was making guys miss, breaking tackles, and wasn't cutting too soon. Got into the hole and then made the cut, and a lot of linebackers scraped and missed him. But I think the key to that whole scenario was Jonathan Davis, as far as being able to put him in and really complement each other very well.
Brett Hodges was not your starting quarterback when the season began. No. And talk about blossoming. I mean, he throws for 15 touchdowns, averaged 205 yards a game. Unfortunately, you're not going to have him back next year. Is Rob Calabrese going to be ready to step in next year, or is this going to be a competition that might be open? I don't want to look too far ahead, Coach, but I'm just...
Well, you are.
I know I am.
I think the big thing, Rob and Nico Flores, I think we have some players back that can really help us, and it was interesting to see the growth of Rob throughout the year. Nico was being redshirted, so we didn't see a lot of him except on the show team. But I think the poise factor really improved with Rob, and when he had an opportunity to go into games, I think he did a good job as far as managing the team, which is what you got to do.
Okay, we're going to take another break. Look ahead to the St. Pete Bowl. Talk to the executive director, Brett Delaney, in just a moment, and we'll talk more specifics about UCF's opponent in that game, Rutgers. All straight ahead on UCF Sports Today with George O'Leary.
The Knights Kids Club, presented by Chick-fil-A, is an exciting new club just for kids 8th grade and under. Call 407-823-6165 or log on to ucfathletics.com to join now.
This is my UCF.
Guyton goes in motion. Roll out. Hodges throws. Look at this. Hodges. Yes. Oh, Rocky Ross. They passed. Touchdown UCF. And we're tied at 20.
They blew the coverage. Rocky Ross saw it, Mark.
Welcome back, everybody, to UCF Sports Today with George O'Leary as the Knights get set for Rutgers in the St. Petersburg Bowl this coming Saturday night at Tropicana Field. Coach, we're going to talk more about your practice schedule and all that in just a moment, but a shout out to Rocky Ross quickly, not only for what he's done on the football field for you. He's a fifth-year senior here at UCF. He's had injury problems, but he has been solid in the classroom throughout, an academic All-America with a 3.88. He's a grad student already in sports and fitness, and I know as a head coach, for a coach who is all about academics and getting these kids graduated, to see something like this makes you very proud.
It's outstanding. A productive player on the field, a great leader on the team. As far as he's going to have a great future ahead of him. And anytime you make academic All-American, that's a great honor, and we're sure proud of him on that.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the practice schedule, because your team just got back onto the field on December 10th. That was this past Thursday, and you're going to be heading down to St. Pete here the day after tomorrow on Tuesday. What has happened? And I bet it was really, God, you couldn't wait to get these kids back on the field. And because you play on December 19th, you aren't getting as many practices leading up to a bowl that I know you as a head coach would like to have. But what have the workouts been like so far in the schedule?
They've been out. We start practice Thursday, and we'll get 6 practices in before we head to St. Petersburg. And again, we're working around a final schedule, and I think the kids have been outstanding, and whether it's morning or evening that we have to practice based on the finals, that the kids have done a great job, and they've come out enthusiastically and understand that, that we're out here to get better. And the one thing that we do, and that's the only problem when you play an early bowl game, is that you don't get as many practices in as you would in a later game. But I divide the team up to green and red, and the green is the game plan part of practice, and the red is when the coaches get a chance to work with the show team guys. In fact, a lot of travel guys that haven't had as much game time as they would have liked. But so we get a feel about them and what they're what they are, and sometimes after you work with them, your recruiting thoughts change a little bit, that the kid can help us, or ooh, we may need to look at something here. So again, I think it works out well, and we'll practice this afternoon and get things done there, and then tomorrow, and then we leave Tuesday at 1:30 for St. Petersburg.
Okay, off to the St. Pete Bowl indeed. Brett Delaney is the executive director of that bowl. If you don't know much about it, find out more.
St. Petersburg Bowl is a new bowl. It's been around 2 years. We had our inaugural kickoff game last year. We had a really great turnout. It's a great venue, the Tropicana Field where the Tampa Bay Rays play. Every one of our hotels is within 150 yards of the beach. So we have a lot to offer from a beach standpoint, from a closed venue, so to speak. The only time that we're not outside is when we're in the dome. And in there it's 69 degrees, so we know we're not going to have a rain game. So that's a good thing. One of the things that we're going to do, we'll have a beach day on Thursday. That's fantastic. We've had kids from the previous year that had never touched the water before. So that's something special. We're looking forward to putting on a good show for those kids. They'll have trikes, water trikes out there. There'll be a talent contest. We'll have a belly flop contest for some of the linemen. You know, one of the kids last year sang opera. So there'll be a multitude of things. We might even have a hot legs contest for Coach Leary. We'll see how that works. I don't know. But we have a couple other events. We have a party at the pier the night before, which will be at the top of the pier. It's about a 6-story building. It'll be overlooking downtown. It's really beautiful, picturesque. Then we have a kickoff luncheon on Friday at noon, and we'll have the team hospital visit that Friday as well. And that night we'll have a fan fest at Ferg's, which most people know about Ferg's. It became world renowned at the World Series, so there'll be a little event there. And then tailgating all day the day of the game. Probably, I think the parking lot's open up 6 hours early this year. So we have a lot going on. Yeah, the best thing to do if you're a UCF fan is to go to their website and purchase tickets through the athletic department. That's the best way to go. That way you know that you'll be sitting with a UCF fan and UCF sections. That's the best way to go. I think this is a huge game for UCF. UCF being Conference USA, going against a Big East school in the BCS conference, you know, from a recruiting standpoint, I think it's huge. I think it makes kids take notice of UCF and the program and the direction that's going under the leadership of Coach O'Leary.
UCF football is heading back to a bowl game. Ticket orders are now being taken at ucfbowl.com or by calling the UCF Athletics ticket office at 407-823-1000. Don't miss out on this historic event. Armor up, Knights. It's bowl time.
So in 1975, the United States ranked 3rd in the world in percentage. Must be the new guy. Guess you can say I was with you guys the whole time. New guy.
UCF and the Central Florida Research Park have helped create 41,000 jobs and contributed about $3.3 billion to the regional economy.
3, and that's only new girl.
So if it seems like your company's growing, it probably is. UCF stands for opportunity.
Fans, here are your Run for Ronald totals for the season. UCF had a total donation to the Ronald McDonald House of $8,179. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
The snap, he's back, he looks, he throws towards the end zone, it's high, it is caught, McDuffie! Did he hold on? Touchdown, or yes, touchdown, McDuffie!
How about that?
Wow, he holds on and makes an incredible catch. 10 of the 20, snap, Keenan back to throw. He looks, comes, sack, they got him, back of the 9-yard line. Bruce Miller drops him. And on first down, hand off to Harvey. He'll run right, he'll get inside the 5, he spins to the 2 to the 1, he dives to the end. Touchdown, Brent Harvey! But for the first time in school history, UCF will defeat a ranked opponent.
Brisk ticket sales already for the St. Petersburg Bowl coming up this Saturday night at Tropicana Field, 8 o'clock kickoff. If you don't have your tickets yet, you can still get them, ucfbowl.com, or you can call the UCF Athletics ticket office at 407-823-1000. 1,000. Welcome back to UCF Sports Today with George O'Leary. George, you talked about the workouts, and there's kind of a double objective when you're a coaching staff getting ready for a bowl game, because you want to get ready for the bowl game, but you also want to take a look at some of these kids, as you were talking about, that you haven't seen that much of this year. So you really use this practice time wisely, don't you?
Oh, we really do. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we've had a recruiting weekend this weekend, so we had 11 players in recruiting-wise this weekend. So there's a lot of things going on as far as they got a chance to watch us practice, and your parents out there, and I think it was great to see, you talk about your football program a lot, but when they get a chance to see it firsthand and the kids out there practicing, and, I think there's a lot of intermingling with the players. So it was good, and we get a chance to work with the players that we haven't spent as much time with a lot, and it gives you a little view as far as what you're heading into in the spring with some of these guys you haven't seen a lot of.
You are the only coach at UCF who has ever taken this program to a bowl game. You've been to two of them. You went to the Hawaii Bowl, went to the Liberty Bowl, lost in overtime, and Hawaii lost in the Liberty Bowl on a very frigid night. What will it mean to you as a head coach and to this program if and when you win at the St. Petersburg Bowl? What will getting that first bowl?
Well, I think that's, it seems like a season of first for us, but I think the big thing with that, we don't have a long history Division I football, and I think when you get opportunities to go to bowl games, the whole key is to win. And I think that we've come close, but that don't count. You got to win, and we have a great opponent in Rutgers as far as coming in, a Big East opponent, and we'll have our work cut out for us. And our players understand that, and they spend a lot of time on finals. They spend a lot of time on tape and spend a lot of time helping us recruit. So there's a lot of things going on.
Well, it's an 8 o'clock kick, and good luck in the game, George.
Thank you.
And think it's been a great season with you. And we hope that you folks will make it over to the game and will make plans to join us next season for UCF Sports Today with George O'Leary. Until then, for the coach and everyone at UCF and ISP, I'm Pat Clark. So long, everybody.
UCF Sports Today with head coach George O'Leary is brought to you by Holler Classic, the official automotive group of the UCF Knights. Buy smart, be happy. Today's show was also presented in part by Budweiser, the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Open up a world of taste. By the energy-saving conservation programs of Tico People's Gas. Syntex Homes. For a better way to a better home, visit syntex.com.